So, I've been a happy camper client of financial planner Dan White and Associates, Andrew Woods and Associate. He's on the phone right now. We're going to talk to Andrew, and then let me put you on hold, other folks there, see if we can get you on as well, because every Wednesday after news at 1:30, we get a lovely tip from Andrew Wood or Dan Simon, or where we're going to have Allison on, by the way. I know she's another great rep you guys have there. You have nothing to do with that, do you, Andrew?
Oh, that was a question?
Yeah, yeah, I know. No, I've met so many people over there, all great people, and yeah, and you too. You are as well. So anyway, what's today's tip from Dan White and Associates with Andrew Wood?
Sure. So we're going to go over. It's actually a new provision, really for retirees in 2025, specifically with 401ks. I don't know if you're aware of this, but I certainly see it basically every day. But if you look on average for people that are nearing retirement, it's about half of Americans between the age of 55 and 64 don't feel that they are prepared to retire when they want to.
You think?
Pretty staggering statistic, right?
Yeah.
So what do you do? Right, and that's obviously part of what we can help with. But I always look at things in terms of do you pay off debts? Does that necessarily make sense? Try to pay off debts first. To try to limit expenses. Obviously, you can save more, and that's certainly one way that that people can do it. And basically, what's going on with the 401k for 2025, employees can defer. It's about $23,500 into a 401k. That's up by about $500 from last year. So you can defer more income, a little bit more income compared to last year. However, if you are over the age of 50, there is what's called a catch-up contribution limit. That's an additional $7,500. So you can still do that. But thanks to the Secure Act 2.0, you have this super catch-up provision with 401ks, and this is going to apply to people that are between 60 and 63 years old, especially, again, if you feel like you're behind, you're not quite prepared. It does give you the ability to save more and also defer some of those taxes. So the catch-up contribution for employees ages 60 to 63, for 2025, it jumps up to $11,250. So that actually brings up the total deferral limit that you're able to contribute for these workers, again, between 60 and 63 years old, bumps it all the way up to about $34,750.
Do what you can, because if you don't, you'll be disappointed, and even more than disappointed, you'll be frustrated.
Of course, and what I find, for most people, at least that I see, especially if they're not, extremely high wage earners or something like that. Typically what I'm going to find is a combination of really the two things that I had mentioned before. But it's going to be, trying to pay off some debts, trying to bring the expenses down a little bit. And then on top of that, if you do have the ability to save more. What's the challenge, though? The challenge is, well, if I'm dedicating more money, more of my income to pay off some of this debt, how am I going to save more, right?
Exactly.
So it's a balancing act.
It really is.
So,
well, no, we've all had to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone has at some point. So,
well, the good thing is, so here's the value of you, and the value of you, Andrew, is that you know so much about all these, tax preferred ways of saving money, the IRS code, what you can and cannot do, how much of it you can and cannot do, and you work with people individually on their own individual situation. So, you put you know where the pieces of this puzzle fit. And I think that's the value of Andrew Wood and everybody who works over at Dan White. So you talk about these things, but we're not talking about them in like general terms. You actually talk with folks in very specific terms. And I appreciate that. I really do.
Yeah, and specifically regarding this, I mean, I think this is it's a great way if you do feel like you're behind, because it's a great opportunity. I mean, you can defer a lot more of that income and save it for later for when you retire.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at recent studies here, there's one from Vanguard 2024. It says only about 15% of eligible participants are actually taking advantage of those catch-up contributions. But again, obviously, there's income, right? I mean, if you're going to save that type of money towards your 401k, that means your income is going to be,
Exactly. We're still living in some pretty tough times, and people are worried about reassessment and taxes and all that as well. So that's the beauty.
I got my letter a couple months ago.
Yeah, I'll bet. Yeah, is it in the ballpark anyway of what you could sell your house for?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Well, you could go on. You could. Oh, so you could go to Newcastle County. You can go on parcel search and find out what your neighbors' assessments are, and you could even see some houses that have sold recently. See if you can if it's in the ballpark. Now,
I think it's in the ballpark. But.
There you go. Mine certainly is. And folks, if you feel like you need to sit down with someone, Andrew's a great guy to do that with. You give him a call, 888-690-8820, 888-690-8820. Dan White and Associates. Just Google that. He's in the Middletown office. Dan and Allison and the Chad's Ford office up there every morning, Sunday morning, I should say, not every morning, every Sunday morning at 7 o'clock. Dan White on the money here on WDEL. Do you know the topic this week?
I don't have it for this upcoming week, but I'm sure it's going to be inspiring.
Well, it always is inspiring, and it's always based upon the news of the day. And right now we have taxes coming up. So it's right here on WDEL. So thank you very, very much, and I appreciate the tip. Take care. Have a great day, man.
You too. Thanks.
Thanks.